Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with Rebecca Grotte. He's the owner of Avondale Design Studio based out of Houston, Texas. We're talking interior design. She can help you commercially, residentially, with everything from start to finish. Please say hello and introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers today.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Grotte. I'm a residential interior designer here in Houston, Texas, and I own Avondale Design Studio.
And the work you do, interior design, ranging from renovating kitchens, bathrooms, doing seat cushions, drapery. I mean, there's so much to your space. And last week we talked about planning space, right?
Yes. So today we'll be talking about kind of the part 2 of that. After we go through space planning, I'll do a little bit of a review and then go on to our next steps of visualization and how we basically the different ways that we use our visualization tools to help our clients to understand the vision that we have. It's sometimes we have to make sure that our clients understand exactly how we want to use certain pieces or how things look together before they buy them, so.
Right. AvondaleDesignStudio.com is the website. So let's get started. Let's do the recap from last week. We did the whole space planning. That was our show last week. So go ahead. You want to do a recap, you said?
So yeah, the basics of how we are going to get the room together is that we go into the space and we measure everything, and then we take our measurements and we put it into an AutoCAD plan, which shows everything in real size so that we know exactly what the space that we're using and what size pieces that we need within the space.
Mm-hmm.
And so today I'm going to show you from that plan, or we take that plan and then we go into what we call a style sheet, which is basically an illustrated version of some different ways that we could style the room with actual pieces of furniture. So now I guess I will share my screen so I can start to show those things for you.
Sure.
Okay, so this is kind of the recap from last week of, let me see if I may need to make it a little bit smaller. Hold on. So let's see. Okay, so a space plan. This is basically like the room that we were looking at last week, where we have a sofa, coffee table, credenza with a TV, an upholstered piece here, a little lamp, a couple of chairs, floor lamps, side tables. So this is just the black and white version of the space of the room. And so we're going to say that this was the client's final plan that they chose. This is what they wanted for their space plan, because usually we show at least 3. And so then we take this plan and we go into what is called a style sheet. So this would be one version of how we could style this room. Can you see all of that?
Beautiful. I love it. Wow. Yeah, because I have your pictures here too. Look awesome.
The portion is not showing that piece of the cabinet there for some reason. But basically this gives us kind of a visual of, so for example, this person, they actually had this sofa already. So we had just taken a picture of it, and that they had these really giant walls. And so we knew that we would need like a really large piece of art above that sofa, because the sofa was low, but then the ceiling height was probably like 12 feet high. So they had this really big space above their sofa. And so we knew that putting artwork into the visualization was also something that they needed to see. And these were actually the chairs that they ended up with in the space. So basically, it gives the client a visual of what we're talking about and how pieces would look together. So these were these chairs that she really loved, and we came up with this was actually a custom upholstered piece here that we chose a fabric that looked great, kind of pulled all the colors
Wow.
together. And so this is one version of a style sheet. So again, whenever we go into showing our clients even these style sheets, a lot of times we'll give them more than one
Yeah.
version to look at, so we can say, how do we like the way that these pieces look together?
Hmm.
So again, let's see. Yeah, that this one is all showing up. So so this is another version. So again, she already had that sofa and she knew that she wanted these chairs. We came in with a different coffee table, like a smoked
Hmm.
glass coffee table, and then a larger lamp here, and then some tall floor lamps. The other example didn't show floor lamps, but that was what we had originally put into the space plan, was to have a couple of floor lamps on that side of the room. And so would be a second version of that same room. So we usually show them at least two or three versions of the same room so that they can look at different pieces together. But it also is a tool that helps us, um, because sometimes we think that like certain things will look good together, but then we start to put them into the Photoshop plan and play with them together, and then we find out sometimes that they don't work as well together as we think that they're going to. And so it's also a tool for us to kind of work through that as a designer, to see those things together before we present them, with these style sheets. So
I
let's see
love it.
then.
Now, if someone says, "Oh, I like that couch, but I want to swap. I don't want the leather. I think I'm going to go with like a fabric." You could switch it out, and that is so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it's partially like yeah, just like the space plans. Like, say for example that they really like this acrylic table instead of the other table that we put in the other visualization. We can mix and match those things and see how they play together, you know. But this also gives them an understanding of like where the direction that we're taking their style. And a lot of times the clients, again, like this person, she already knew that she really loved these chairs, and she hadn't bought them yet, but she knew that she wanted them. So the in this particular case, we knew that we would put those in there, but making sure that everything else that we put into the room works with those chairs, because she knows that she wants that chair or whatever. That's part of the back and forth between the designer and the client, because sometimes, like, she already had the sofa, so we had to take a picture of the sofa. And in most cases, clients are going to have some pieces that they want to keep in the room, or maybe even half of the pieces that they already have, and they know that they want to keep them there. But how do the new pieces work with the old pieces that they have,
Hmm.
you know? Okay, so let's see. This is the same house, but this is the dining room space plan. So she had an existing dining table, and we were basically just styling the rest of the room to that table, or what she already had.
Hmm.
So she's got the dining table, and then we were suggesting to have a credenza with a couple of lamps, and then a couple of side chairs and a pedestal with some plants over there. Let's see. Okay, so this would be version one that we showed her. And these lamps show up again because these were some lamps that she saw at an antique shop that she really liked. So we didn't know where they would end up. They actually did end up in the dining room. Um, but this is one version of a dining room plan. And again, she was looking to buy some artwork for that wall as well. And so these sort of things help her and help us to kind of see how does that piece of
Pretty.
art work with,
Yeah.
what we're suggesting for her. Um, and she had this table already, but she wanted to kind of mix this like farmhouse kind of industrial style with like a bit of French. And um, so this was one version of the dining room, and
Wow.
she really loved this cabinet. So we
Hmm.
had basically she kind of knew she wanted that cabinet. And this is another style sheet for the dining room where we come in with some elements of acrylic. Like this chandelier's got the acrylic on it, and this
Pretty.
pedestal also acrylic. And then just changing up the chairs and changing up the lamps. And gave her, it's just a different look, but beautiful in its own way. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Now we also use, let's see. Okay, we'll use visualization. For for example, whenever we create, say we're going to make some custom
Aw,
pillows.
I
So
love that.
this is one way that we can kind of show them how the fabrics will look together. And of course, we'll have the actual fabric with us, when we show them these things, but it helps them to visualize, okay, if we're talking about, so this pillow right here, this is called a flange. So it's got like a wider piece on the edge. This one has tape trim on it. And then this one right here just has a simple welting. But sometimes people don't know what those terms mean. So whenever we put them into a visualization, then they can understand. A lot of people don't know what a flange is for a pillow.
No,
So
flange or a wilt. What is that again? Show me
okay, so like
the flange is the
the flange is the wider border. It's
hmm.
basically a piece of fabric that we make into, and we can make it into any size. So this could
Okay.
be an inch, it could be 2 inches if you wanted a big ruffle on it. And then this right here is tape trim that's applied to the top of a pillow. So it creates that picture frame like
Hmm.
on it. And then a welting is this real thin um, that actually has a cord inside of it.
Ah, I
So,
know exactly what that is. I never knew it was that and or cord inside of it. But yeah, it's that
mhm,
very thin. It looks like it's like a thread sewn onto the top, like a thick,
right.
like a
And so,
straw, even like this, like a straw.
yeah, they have different diameters. Like, so
Hmm.
that one would be probably just a 1/4 inch welt, but they have them real big too, if that's what we're doing. But so this is basically just a way for us to kind of explain those things to the client because most people don't, unless they worked in drapery or pillows and stuff, they don't really know those terms. So here's just a picture of, let's see, come on. This is a lot. This picture is way bigger than it should be. Hold
I
on.
see what you mean. Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. So where you can see the actual pillows that were made.
Hmm.
So that's, I don't know if the whole picture is just like way big. Okay, maybe that's better.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
So you get
Oh, that is beautiful.
a better idea of what those pillows, I think, and we added a few, but what these pillows actually turned out looking like. So this was a little attic. There was a little attic space that we did, and we wrapped it in some wall covering, and we these were those pillows that we showed in the visualization. And then this is what they actually look like in real life after they were done,
Oh my goodness.
along with the
Beautiful.
So that's another way that we can use our visualization tools to help people understand what we're talking about.
And you said this is attic space? Wow. My attic is like barely there's wood. There's like a now to design your attic, that is beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this particular place, it was it's like a 1920s bungalow, and it had this really cool um attic, like, and it had, a whole bunch of angles on it. It was just a super cute house, and this lady, she was always really fun to design with, but yeah, it was a completely usable attic. Like, you could use it as a whole room. So
Got it.
we just basically converted it like into a room, and wrapped it in some wall covering and put in a pretty day bed and some pillows up there, so that when she did have guests, that they had an extra place to stay up there.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
let's see, go to the next. So this one, let's see, I'm gonna have to zoom back in. Uh, Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, so this is using our tools to show what we would do with upholstery. So we've got, these were a lovely line, Alfonso Marina, that makes, they basically make these beautiful reproductions of the old antique style chairs. And our client, she wanted to have this neoclassical style, but she wanted to have um, modern fabric on them, so that, like, it was kind of that clash of like old and new. And this is the way that we visualized how we would upholster the chairs for this room. And they actually turned out really beautiful. I don't think I got a picture of the actual chairs on this
Hmm.
PDF, but this is another way that we can show our clients how we would use a particular fabric on a chair. And let's see. And this was for the same client, how we were visualizing the pillows that we were going to put into that space. Um,
Wow.
Again, showing them, we
Great.
were on those chairs, we were doing like a left and a right version, to where we'd like color block one side on the left and one side on the right.
Hmm.
And then again, two pillows with flanges, and then pillows with top tape, and some pillows with just a simple wilting. So that's, again, we use these things to help them to understand exactly what we're talking about.
Hmm.
So the next one is going to be an actual, just a marker rendering. This is just a drawing that I did. You know, Drapery a lot of times is easier for us to do with by hand, because it's a lot more flowy. It's harder to do for me personally, on the computer, than it is to
Wow.
just get my markers out and do it that way. So this was a window that we were treating, that was above a beautiful bathtub, and she wanted this was a more traditional looking style, like they were more traditional in style.
It's so pretty.
And then let's see, oh, this is one that needs to be, sorry.
Sure. I know. All the zoom, the scale ratio.
Okay, so there's the actual window. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's so pretty.
So this is um, just our way of showing them, what that swag would look like. And then this was
Beautiful.
the
Hmm.
actual install picture from that. I wish I could see the whole
Oh,
thing. Yeah, there it goes.
oh, wow.
So it was above a tub deck. So yeah, they had this really big,
Hmm.
nice soaker tub, and then we were treating this one window. So that's another way that we use our tools there. And let's see. Uh, Sorry, going back and forth.
It's okay.
Let's see. Okay, so this was same house, that I just showed you the window, and this was like their master bedroom. So we were working within these greens and purples. Um, this was the bedspread fabric, and then we were suggesting some pillows and some shams, and a bolster. Well, we ended up doing some round pillows instead of a bolster, but this was the original pillow diagram that we were showing. So let's see.
Beautiful. I love that. The
Ah,
tape, the bolster tape. That's a beautiful little round pillow.
thank you. And here we go. Okay, there we go. There's the actual. Let's see if we can get it.
Nice.
Sorry. I didn't realize I'd have so many back and forth with this, with the zooming.
Okay. Hey, we learned, right? We learned a lot last week, and we'll just continue to learn each week.
Okay, there's an
Perfect.
okay view of it,
Yep.
of the actual. Again, this person's style is a little bit more traditional, but it ended up being really beautiful. This block print, this Fortuny block print it was gorgeous. And we used the colors. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but a lot of these colors are in this print. And this is how we showed them, what the pillows would look like. We ended up with these round pillows instead of the bolster, but it was let's see. Okay, and then we have another style sheet that I'll show you.
Wow.
Let's see. Okay, so this was a young couple, a bedroom. So that again, this is a style sheet like from the beginning, like what we showed you at the beginning of their bedroom, and so they had their bedroom was quite large, so we had some extra room to have like a desk and everything in there. And so this was just the final style sheet that they had chosen for their room. And then this is what the actual room looked like once it was
Wow.
finished. So you can see this.
Amazing. That is so pretty. I love that picture. Wow.
Thank you.
You
Yeah,
that
so
picture
it
looks
doesn't show
so
every
pretty.
piece, but you can see kind of the sides of the pieces, the desk
Yeah.
here. And they had, again, like this is a really big bedroom, but we were working within, like we had already done their draperies and stuff. So, and we had the existing carpet. So we knew kind of the colors that we were working within. And we worked with that color palette to create this beautiful bedroom for them. So that's that's the end of this one. And then I'm not sure how much time we've got left.
We got 4 minutes left.
Okay. So the second, let's
3.
see.
Sorry, I messed up. Yep.
Oh,
3 and a
that's
half. We're
okay.
good. Wow.
So these
Kitchen.
are, yeah, this is basically this is basically like a CAD plan that what we were, the challenge in this kitchen was that she was wanting to see what it would be like if we were to do different cabinet colors. So this was one way, and then also a couple of different decorative backsplashes. So this is an AutoCAD plan that's been kind of photoshopped over to show color. Or so this was the first one. So we're just looking at maybe painting the hood green. The second one shows what it would be like with the green lower cabinets,
Okay.
which is actually the one that she ended up doing.
Wow.
This was going in with a black hood, showing what it would look like in black on the top. This
Wow.
was a different backsplash that she was looking at for that one decorative tile area.
Yeah.
And then there's another version with some different tile. And then this was going all green and then black hood. So this was just a way for me to show her kind of just visually what it would be like to put in those different colors on the different cabinets, before she had them painted, because it's a big decision if you're going to decide to paint
Yeah.
your cabinets, to make sure that you have, what you want in the right place. So this is basically using AutoCAD and just adding some color to it in Photoshop. And this is, this is really just helps them with decision making, and it helps us to show them what our vision for their space is, and to come back and forth. Again, it's a back and forth with the client. Say, oh, well, I like this one. Can we switch this one? So let's see. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. I love your work. It's amazing. And if you're listening, just tuning in, those in the Houston area, especially Avondale Design Studio, tell us how we can reach you.
My email address is rebecca@avondaledesignstudio.com. And my website's www.avondaledesignstudio.com. And my phone number is 803-565-3101.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Beautiful work. What do you have in mind for us next week? A little teaser. Which phase are we doing next?
Well, I was thinking about doing some fabric palettes.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Amazing. I love your work. Thank you so much, Rebecca Grotte. Pleasure having you back here as always, and looking forward to next week's show. Have a great day. Thank you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.